All it takes is a quick Google search. A few clicks, hit the play button, and you have up and streaming almost any movie or TV show you want. Who would think that stealing something that cost $250 million to make would be so easy?
Pirates, or rather internet pirates, are responsible for $2.7 billion being stolen from US workers each year, and this number is on the rise. In 1999, sales totaled $14.6 billion. Then Napster and similar software emerged. And just last year, in 2013, only $7 billion worth of music was sold. This is a drop of 53%. Of course, music isn't the only industry affected. The film industry has taken a massive hit. In 2005, the big-name studios estimated that they lost $6.1 billion a year, and the whole industry lost a combined $18.2 billion. To really understand the damage, you need to know that the average cost of a US movie is $100 million. Some films, like Avatar, reaching $425 million. Plus, these budgets are only rising, and the number of people attending the movies is declining. From 2012 to 2013, there was a 21% drop in the number of 18 to 24-year-olds attending theaters. After all, why go to the theater and pay for the movie when you can get it for free online? For some people, the answer is, well, because it's illegal. But this doesn't stop 46% of the US population, all of which has pirated some form of media in their lives. This number will continue to increase, since 70% of the younger generation, ages 18 to 29, pirates regularly. So, why does this happen in the first place? After all, piracy is still against the law.
It seems obvious that if I create something like a movie, song, or piece of software, other people shouldn't be able to steal it and use it for free without my permission. This is the main motivation behind legislation designed to prevent copyright infringement. Protection of this type of intellectual property has long been a priority for legislators in both the United States and around the world. In 1998, Congress passed the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, one of the first reactionary laws to address the issue of copyright in the age of the internet. The DMCA was the first major step taken by the US with respect to copyright and intellectual property online, with sections that enforce broader copyright laws in the form of the WIPO Copyright Treaty, which was created 2 years earlier as international legislation by the WIPO, or the World Intellectual Property Organization. The implemented legislation took a relatively aggressive stance against online copyright infringement, essentially outlawing software and websites which attempted to circumvent systems meant to control and manage copyrighted media, and outlawing the copying or sharing of copyrighted media. Although the DMCA was passed unanimously by Congress and signed without much controversy by then-President Bill Clinton, it didn't entirely dodge criticism from the public. Opponents claimed that the law would limit freedoms on the internet and stifle fair use of copyrighted material, as well as pave the way for stricter, even more constricting legislation in the future. These were sentiments which boiled over more than a decade later with the attempted passage of SOPA in 2011. Despite this backlash, organizations heavily concerned with the piracy of copyrighted material, such as the RIAA, the Recording Industry Association of America, and the MPAA, Motion Picture Association of America, praised the DMCA as a step in the right direction to preventing online piracy of copyrighted material. The inherent conflict of interest between media producers such as the MPAA and the public concerned with the restricted freedoms online is one which has persisted to today and is one of the main reasons why this issue has remained so controversial.
The debate over internet piracy came to a head between 2011 and 2012 when the Stop Online Piracy Act, or SOPA, was proposed in Congress. The bill was designed to target internationally based sites that were hosting pirated content, as they had easily evaded U.S. legislation in the past. It would have allowed content owners to force U.S. websites, including search engines like Google, to sever links they had to sites that were found to be hosting pirated content. In its original form, SOPA also sought to address how seriously the public viewed internet piracy by making it a felony to host or use copyrighted content without the owner's permission. This punishment certainly would have acted as a potent deterrent to piracy, so as you might suspect, large organizations involved in content creation like Viacom and the Motion Picture Association of America were highly supportive of the bill. The public as a whole, however, was not. The notion that SOPA might become law led some people to get out and protest, and the majority of the fight against SOPA took place online. 2 petitions on whitehouse.gov opposing the act collectively garnered over 100,000 signatures, prompting the White House to announce its opposition because, and I quote, "it will not support legislation that reduces freedom of expression or undermines the dynamic, innovative, global internet." This was followed by the largest online protest to date, during which major websites including Google, Wikipedia, Reddit, and WordPress blacked out their sites, in some cases completely blocking access to their services. The bill has since been shelved indefinitely, serving only to highlight the complexity of the debate and our continuing inability to solve it. To find out what motivates people to consume pirated media, we sat down for an anonymous interview with someone who pirates media on a regular basis. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
So, why do you watch pirated content as opposed to paying for it or purchasing a service like Netflix?
It's a lot easier to just go online and use a website to stream stuff, especially because it's all free. It takes me less than a minute to find the movie or TV show I want to watch, and all I need is an internet connection, no online accounts or credit cards or anything like that.
But isn't what you're doing just stealing?
Stealing from like some fat cat Hollywood producer is making millions of dollars a day.
Yeah, but still, don't you think it's immoral?
I mean, not really.
Sentiments voiced by our interviewee are mirrored in investigations targeting other people who consume pirated media. According to a survey by Business Insider, the main reason for streaming pirated media online is that the media consumers were looking for couldn't be found on other legitimate sites. This reinforces the idea that for online consumers, conveniency and ease of access are key. In fact, when those who don't stream illegal content were asked why they didn't, the number one reason wasn't that it was immoral, but that it is illegal. The second largest reason, fear of accidentally downloading viruses from sketchy sites. In fact, only 7% of respondents said that the reason for not streaming pirated media was due to the belief that it was immoral.
So why has online piracy become and remains such a controversial topic? If you asked almost anyone on the street if they thought that stealing in general is immoral, probably 100% would agree that it was. Ask almost anyone if shoplifting a DVD from a Blockbuster is immoral, and probably 100% would agree that it is. But phrase the question in such a way that it refers to consuming pirated media, and that number drops considerably. Society's fundamental inability to see consuming pirated media as stealing remains one of the important factors behind the controversy over how to handle online piracy. When it comes to using or consuming pirated media in a virtual sense, it's almost as if people downgrade the crime to one so insignificant that they feel it is not one they should have to worry about. As a result, demand for pirated media online is immense, and shady websites are more than happy to provide consumers with a direct, easy, and free way to download and share media illegally.
But the public's stance on piracy isn't the only reason for the controversial status of the issue. In addition, legislation to target piracy has inherently been linked with and seen as a gateway to infringe on online freedoms. With the DMCA in 1998 and then with SOPA in 2011, the public and numerous companies and organizations spoke out against the legislation for fear that the new laws would limit freedoms and harm innovation found online. Yet just as these groups argued against legislation, powerful organizations and industries like the MPAA and RIAA aggressively supported and called for even stricter laws. The resulting power struggle between the public and sites like Google, Wikipedia, and Reddit on one side, and multi-billion-dollar industries like the film and music industries on the other, has put lawmakers in a tough spot to get anything productive done. Each side of the argument seems to be only concerned with their own potential issues with legislation, and neither side is willing to sit down and compromise to reach a solution.